What must you do before you leave your vehicle? Apply the parking brake. Where are you allowed to park a long, rigid vehicle? At a service area. When may hazard warning lights be used while driving? When on motorways or dual carriageways, to warn drivers behind of a hazard ahead. When may hazard... You're applying for an HGV or PCV license for the first time. What will your medical examination include? A hygiene test, a numeracy test, an eyesight test, a literacy test. Select one answer. How can vehicle operators help to prevent the carriage of illegal immigrants? By using an effective vehicle security system. What's the maximum fine for driving without insurance? Unlimited. When may an audible warning device for reversing be used in areas with a 30 miles per hour speed limit? Between 7 a.m. and 11:30 p.m. Why should you check your right-hand mirror just before turning right from a main road into a side road? There may be pedestrians stepping off the curb. Someone may be overtaking you. With flow bus and cycle lane. You're behind a parked car. What should you do when you're about to move off? Check the blind spots before you start moving. The area around an incident is safe. What's the best way to help an injured person? Keep them in the vehicle. You arrive at the scene of an incident where someone is injured. What should be given urgent priority? Deal with the danger from further collisions or fire. At the scene of a crash, a casualty is in contact with live electrical cables. What should you use to break the electrical connection? A length of wood. You arrive at the scene of an incident and someone is unconscious. What's the first thing you should do to help them? Check that they're breathing. You arrive at the scene of an incident. A casualty has an injured arm that's bleeding heavily. What could you do to help while waiting for the emergency services to try to stem the flow of blood? At an incident, a casualty is unconscious but still breathing. Why would you move them? Because there's further danger. Your vehicle is fitted with an air-assisted hydraulic braking system. What would warn you that the vacuum pump isn't working? The brake pedal feels hard when pressed. What's the principal braking system on a lorry called? The service brake. What could prevent air pressure from building up in an air brake system in frosty weather? Moisture drawn in with the air may freeze and cause a blockage. Where would you see an escape lane? Down a steep hill. Brake fade is a loss of effectiveness of the brakes when they overheat. When would brake fade be most likely to happen? On a long downhill gradient. What should you do if the brake air pressure warning light comes on while you're driving? Stop and get help without delay. When is an articulated vehicle most at risk of jackknifing? While it's under heavy braking. What does this sign warn of? Tunnel ahead. When this vehicle transporter turns, how will the overhanging top deck move? Through a greater arc than the cab. Your vehicle has collided with a railway bridge. What information must you give the railway authority when you telephone them? The bridge number. When should you allow for the effects of a speed limiter? When you're overtaking. Where must the repair of a speed limiter be carried out? At an authorized speed limiter center. Where can the axle weight limits be found? On the vehicle plate. You're driving a long vehicle. What should you do when you want to turn right at a painted mini roundabout? Avoid going over the roundabout if possible. Diesel fuel has been spilled on the road. Which road users will this be a particular danger for? Motorcyclists. You're driving between the hours of 11:30 p.m. and 7 a.m. When must you switch off your vehicle's reverse warning bleeper? Before reversing on a road that has a 30 miles per hour speed limit. When may red diesel be used? For authorized purposes only. What's likely to happen if you avoid traveling during peak times? You're less likely to be delayed. You've just refilled your fuel tank. What must you check before driving away from the fuel pump? That the filler cap is properly closed and secure. What can cause unnecessary pollution to the environment? Poorly maintained vehicles. What can cab-mounted wind deflectors reduce? Fuel consumption. Why are ropes unsuitable to tie down a load of scrap metal? Ropes can wear and snap. What could happen if you drive a double-deck lorry with the top deck loaded and the lower deck empty? The lorry may overturn when cornering. Which load is most likely to move forward with some force when you brake sharply? Tubular metal. When is an articulated lorry most likely to jackknife? When it's unloaded. Your lorry has a crane fitted. You're loading very heavy items. What should you do when you feel that the ropes or straps may break? Use chains and tensioners. What's the main reason for covering a skip that you're transporting? To prevent any spillage. What will you need to transport livestock on journeys of less than 65 kilometers, 40 miles? Practical experience in the care of animals. What shape are the labels that indicate a vehicle is carrying hazardous cargo? Diamond. Which type of digital tachograph card is used by an approved calibration center when they're recalibrating the tachograph? Workshop card. What should you do to prevent your load from being stolen? Make sure all doors and windows are locked. At the end of your working week, you've driven a total of 56 hours. Under EU rules, what's the maximum number of hours you can drive in the following week? Your vehicle is fitted with an analog tachograph. What should you do if you need to exceed the normal driver's hours due to an emergency? Continue using the same tachograph chart and write an explanation on the back. You're making a journey with a co-driver. When the other person is driving, how should you show this time? As a break in daily driving.